Rolex. Everywhere I go, flex. Valet park on some low.
Wah. What it do? What it do? Shout out to Thugger. I'm gonna keep rocking with that for as long as shout out to Thugger, man. We back again. We still ain't named this beautiful piece of art, but it's your boy Vic Rogers.
It's Sydney Lee. Nice to meet y'all. Thanks for tuning in again. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and watch our past 2 episodes. And keep tuning in with us. We appreciate y'all.
For sure, for sure. So as we continue the neighborhood nip book club, we come to a book that is very personal to me. And this book is called Seize the Time by Bobby Seale. It's a powerful and personal account of the Black Panther Party's history, philosophy, activism, and it's all told through the living legend Bobby Seale. So like I'm 100% gonna always tell everybody to lock in. If y'all don't know who that brother is, man, this is a great introduction to him. And we're gonna talk about it from my point of view. And then, we're gonna get Sid's point of view, and then hopefully the people who like, subscribe, in other word, okay, like, share and subscribe, right? And talk in the comments, right? We're gonna lock in from there too, right? But definitely want to do that. Now, I gotta identify a song that we're gonna correlate with this show today, right? Because work's been crazy. So, like we've talked about what we gonna talk about. We're gonna get into the book, but like, how you been? Because I've been everywhere, man. I've been grinding, man, trying to lock in, man.
No, y'all, Vic's really been making big entrepreneurship moves. Like, he's gonna be the face of the AI space. I'm telling y'all. So I've been doing the same with my business. For those who don't know, I have a marketing agency that provides digital marketing support for churches, entrepreneurs, and new small businesses. So if you need help with social media management, paid advertising, or email marketing, I'm your girl. I'm with you every step of the way to glorify God in the online landscape. And then I also have an apparel company called Let Go Let God. My hoodies. I brought a T-shirt. It's cold in my basement, but I brought a T-shirt. Let Go Let God. So if you guys are interested in these, we have tees, hoodies, and long sleeves. So that's kind of a little bit of what I do, and you can also follow me on socials. I'll make sure to put our socials too. I just thought about that, just so you can connect with us and follow us.
10-4, and again, my website's up. Y'all want to check your boy out, Victor Rogers. Really passionate about how to teaching people how just to use that tool in an effective manner, right? Like this started out as just a labor of love. I'm a big nip guy, and me and Sid locked in, and just it just allowed for us to have these conversations a little bit easier, right? Like definitely go out and buy the book. I'm always going to highlight that, but with AI, man, there's just so much you could do, right? And I found a song that we're gonna rock with on this one. It's called Blue Laces, the first one.
Blue laces.
Yeah, Blue Laces, and I love how you're experiencing, Nip in the moment, like you've never heard that song before in your life, right?
Nope.
Man, let me tell you how I feel. Like it's one of those tracks where it's just like the beat is so hard, and it's just like, he talk about, in LA, man, that lifestyle is very, very rooted in like them kids is out there at a young age acting up, turned up, and he just talk about that, and he talks about how it is, you know, to live that lifestyle. And like, I think about the song, and like, it's one of those things where it's like, because I've been working so much, I didn't even really get to prepare for this call. But I love Bobby Seale, and I love, Nip. So it's just, I'm just gonna start from my heart, man. Like that, the track is really what resonates with me. It's just, I don't even know the instruments, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a
Yeah.
big music aficionado, novice, not at all. Opposite of novice when it comes to rap music in particular, but like the production on that track is just hard. And then the Blue Laces 2 on the Victory Lap is hard. And we'll probably run with that for the Huey Newton version, right? But like when you check out Blue Laces, it kind of gives you the aesthetic of the Black Panther Party, and I think what we can talk about, Al, is just like my notion of the Black Panther Party, right? So when you hear the Black Panther Party, like what is your understanding of that, Sid?
A group of people that were willing to do anything for their rights. Like they knew their rights, they knew their values, and they didn't mind standing up for themselves. That's immediately what I think about. They were ready to go for anything, march, whatever it was, to stand up for their rights, because we're all created equal. So all of the discrimination, they definitely were not going for all that. They were gonna make some noise.
10-4. I just I'm in my office and I got a great book that I'm gonna speak to. I just turned it on the first page. We're gonna talk about the 10-point program on eventually when we get through that, right? And even my shirt, it got Angela Davis and Stokey Carmichael and
Yeah, that's a beautiful
um
shirt.
Edler Cleaver, I'm gonna mess names up, H. Rap Brown, Wild Boy. Been a real big advocate for militant activism for a long time. And it's good that you allude to that, right? Because there's a decade of age difference between us, right?
Yeah.
But your daughter, when she hears the Black Panther, what do you think she thinks?
I don't even think she knows about them for real. I'm be honest. I don't think they don't be teaching none of that really in the school systems as much as when I was when I was, it was talked about all the time. Like I feel like now, like she barely knows what 9/11 is. She's like, "Were you alive in 9/11?" I was like, "Yeah, I was alive
Yeah.
in 9/11."
Yeah, 9/11 was wild.
So I think her first reaction would be like, What is that?" And then it'll kind of, because she knows Martin Luther King. She has recited his whole speech. Like she knows him, but I don't think she knows about the Black Panther. I feel like people treat and I don't want to say this the wrong way, like Martin Luther King is like up here and the Black Panther is kind of like below or beneath, but ultimately they had the same goal, which was for our people to be treated equally.
And I'll add to that, right? If your daughter is 12, so she was born after 2010.
She's in 2011. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she's Generation Alpha. So this is perfect, right? So
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah,
We
yeah.
talked about it
I,
last time, I
I
think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, and this is like some good stuff for like,
Yeah.
from a business standpoint, when you're looking to craft a product as an entrepreneur, understand that there's a new demographic. It's called Generation Alpha, right? So this is
Yeah.
transferable. To me, when I think of Generation Alpha, when they hear Black Panther, they thinking about the Marvel character. They thinking about Chad
That's a
Boseman.
good perspective. Yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. That's exactly what they're gonna think about.
And what I don't want to ever happen is people forget what happened to those gentlemen, right? So like let's be clear. Whatever happens of these doc shows, I'm always stand on business about a lot of stuff, man. And J. Edgar Hoover was a terrorist, an American terrorist to black society, period. And one of his key, and let's say it in terms that kids understand, and we talking about Nip, so we talking about rap music. Let's say it in terms that the rap fans understand. His biggest op, Malcolm X, Huey Newton, Stoke. You know what I'm saying? Like Angela Davis, the Black Panther Party. Let's talk about Fred Hampton. Like write that down. We're going to talk about that, right? So when I think about the Black Panther Party, one of the things that people just forget, like the first point on their 10-point action plan was, we want freedom, we want power to determine the destiny of the Black community. Like that's not something that many people should have an issue with, but they did. And I'm gonna go through all of these on this call. But number two was, we want full employment for our people. I'm a guy who really is a big advocate of workforce development and job readiness initiatives, right? So, when I look at this book, seize the moment, seize the time. I think to seize the moment. And as an entrepreneur, you should do the same, right? So, quick intro to my thought process on the Black Panthers and Bobby Seale, and we're gonna talk about how I dressed up as him when I lived in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Man, shout out to C Love, you know what I mean? Shout out to Carlisle. But as you got to kind of going through the book and kind of going over the story, like what were some of the things that stood out to you?
Yeah, just going off of the point that you said, about employment and the workforce, a lot of us, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're kind of transitioning to it, you work in corporate America, or maybe it's not corporate, but you have a job. You have a 9 to 5 job, you work, whatever. Think about how long it took just for a lot of companies to acknowledge like there's a diversity issue. If you notice, there's so much in companies to make sure that's kind of being reinforced. And wasn't it in DC, the Crown Act? When was that passed?
I can ask AI real quick.
Yeah. Ask see how he's using AI? Ask AI. But the Crown Act, to where black women couldn't be discriminated because of your hair. So if I walk into work wearing, like, what if I have dreads like Vic? You're telling me that I look unprofessional? Or if my hair is like how it is in a puff right now, I can't, you're telling me I can't do my job because my hair looks different? Or if I wear a fro or something like that. But this is very recent. Isn't it recent?
Oh wow, October 5th, 2020. Council
2020.
member. Yeah.
That's 4 years ago. 2020.
So it says that the legislation aimed to amend a DC Human Rights Act of 1977 to prohibit discrimination based on hairstyles associated with race. So yeah, shout out
But
to
think
Bert.
about it. That's
Go ahead.
crazy. Because I remember when I used to intern at a job, and they and at this company I wore braids, and they were like, "Well, why are you wearing braids? That's unprofessional." What you mean? Like these boxes look clean. Like everything looks clean. What do you mean? These box braids look great. But I mean, 20, and think about that. Black Panther. I was like, what, 19? The 1960, like, and think about how long that took. You know what I mean? So the Black Panther community, like, they did a lot, but it took up until the 2000s for that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And kind of going back to the Generation Alpha, that generation and Gen Z, they ain't having it because it becomes a whole legal issue. Now I'm seeing more of where people are kind of calling these companies out, like, "Hey, you can't do that."
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure I made that point because that really stuck out to me with
Tim
what's going on
Tim
now.
for it, and I want to make sure we shout out the councilwoman in DC. I'm gonna probably butcher this name, but it's Brianne K. Nadeau, Nadeau. So shout out to that one, and then to that end, I would say that you know um a lot of stuff happened in the 60s, right? But it wasn't intentional that, J. Edgar Hoover identified these brothers because they were sharp, and guns rights activists did
Hmm.
not stick up for the Black Panther Party when they decided that it was effective way to police their community, when they were doing like social justice programs like the free breakfast program for children
Yep.
that like gets lost. Like, if you watch if you watch as much conservative content as I do, a lot of times what you'll see is that they just paint these brothers as gun-toting hooligans, but they misrepresent the fact that there was COINTELPRO that was like legitimately designed to eliminate them, and that's what happened, right? So when you read this book,
Hmm.
it's one of those things where Bobby Seale just kind of just details how he established the concept of the party. Shout out to the Bay. We still going hyphy, Shout out to the Bay, man, and like all great things that happen on the West Coast, I guess. Shout out to the West, but it just kind of examines like how kids in that community needed that breakfast program, but then like the health clinics in that community, like stuff like that, and just like one thing that I think sometimes gets lost in translation is that they were a Marxist organization and that political ideology, right?
Hmm.
But I juxtapose that to like what we have in society now. You have a populist leader leading an organization of individuals that there's some clear hypocrisies on the right side, right? Like you can't tell me that you stand up for religious X, Y, and Z when your flag bearer has 5 kids, but 3 different baby mamas, has had multiple affairs with porn stars, who was really clicked up with the mob back in the day, and that's cool, right? So it's like
It's always a
there was
double standard.
never.
It's weird.
It is.
It's
It
just
is.
when you say stuff like that, it's when you say it out loud, people are like, "Wait a minute, that doesn't." Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how the standards are just different.
And you got to think like even when the Panthers were doing what they were doing, like this was before Uber, this was before cell phones. So like when they would have these sessions, and let's talk about Fred Hampton. Like, these guys were able to really do things in a fashion that was phenomenal. So they expanded from Cali, and there was remnants of the Panther Party in Texas for sure, because God bless the dead, Pimp C's mother, Mama West, she introduced me to a gentleman like back when I was in college. He would tell me stories. I met with Dick Gregory doing some NAACP stuff, and he would tell me stories, and that was in Virginia, right? Or Chicago, which was the epicenter for all things as it pertains to like just popularity and culture in the 60s. There's a great man who was assassinated on December 4th named Fred Hampton, who was a real advocate out there pushing the line, trying to see change. So when you look at stuff around education, legal aid, healthcare, community outreach, this brother was like, on point. But I guess the self defense stance that he took made himself a target, and I blame it on J. Edgar Hoover. Like, if there's nothing that you get from what we're talking about today, like Bobby Seale still being alive is just a blessing, because the whole FBI, which if you go and look, there's buildings named after this guy, J. Edgar Hoover, in Cali, that just still to this day stands, and like nobody takes him down, but like we'll cancel. And I'm not trying to say ain't nobody supposed to not be canceled, so I ain't gonna say no names.
We're not a part of the
But
cancel culture. Just disclaimer: we're not a part of it. We just stay in facts.
same facts, 100%.
That's all we're doing.
I don't know. I think my thing with canceling some people, like there's some stuff that's not objectable. Like what Harvey Weinstein did. He's a wild boy. Like, just get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm subjective. Harvey Weinstein was who he was. So let's be clear. I don't support what R. Kelly did either. But let's talk about why, a guy like J. Edgar Hoover still has his names on buildings when, I'm from a city in Texas called Fort Hood, that they don't even call it Fort Hood no more because, it was a conservative person named after it. But why is the military naming, bases after the ops? Because we beat the rebels in the Civil War, right? And it goes back to like some of the stuff that they were fighting for,
That's a lot of schools. That's like schools in Virginia. What it used to be called. It's in Northern Virginia. The high school, the name changed.
Shoot, I can tell you one down here in Richmond, up Mechanicsville, Lee Davis High, named after Jefferson.
And there was another one by me. I think it was Stonehill.
Probably, yep.
It was Stonehill, and they
Stonewall Jackson. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was Stonewall, and they switched the name. I can't remember what the name is, but because people were saying like, why is the school named after this? So like to your point about like the school systems buildings being named, like people are literally changing names because now people are, the government or who's being called out, but they're like, why is this still the name of this school, or why is this still the name of this building? It should be something else, or someone else should be honored by having the name of this. So that just made me think about that. But yeah, the schools, I can't remember what the name is. I'm gonna look it up because I want to know what it is.
And while you look that up, let's weave in a couple more of these 10-point programs that this is what the organization stood for. I'm gonna run through them all. We want an end to the robbery by the white man of our Black community. That was number 3. Number 4, we want decent housing fit for shelter of human beings. That's number. I think that's number 4. The other one was number 3. So number 5, we want education for our people that expose the true nature of this descendant American society. We want education that teaches us our true history and our role in the present day society. Newsflash, Black history didn't start during slavery. And it sounds like to this day, critical race theory, which, and again, I'm not red or blue, even though this song that we referenced was Blue Laces, so I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm definitely not. I'm not gangbanging. Neither one of them for sure, man. I'm an independent, but I don't know. Critical race theory is crazy because like what I see with that is that we don't want to really talk about society and what the truth was, right? We want to sugarcoat the stuff that makes a certain set of society look good, and then we want to forget the stuff that makes us look great, like Egypt. There's a book. Have you ever heard of the book called A Stolen Legacy?
I haven't.
We should probably just do a one-off book. I don't even know if this is one of Nip's books, but write that down for sure, man. Man. Don't give me the line. I couldn't tell you. I just know the book. No, it should only be one. A Stolen Legacy. Yeah. It's it talks about how Europeans stole the whole notion of Egypt, and a lot of the stuff that we take for granted in society, is really, built by melanated people. And this shirt is actually, I think, was this a melanated? I forgot.
Lots of seen about that. Just history of how stuff started out, and then either it's mainly the Europeans. I feel like is like the common theme, and they come in and just kind of wipe everything, or that's like I don't want to be correct how I say it. Like, why do we have Columbus Day? I see so many people are like, why is Columbus Day even a holiday?
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. I mean, like, colonialism was different across a lot of different diasporas, I believe. I think that's the right word to use. Y'all kill me in the comments if I'm wrong. Make sure you like, share, and
Doing math,
subscribe.
so
Hey, SAT words. Nah, like, so, like, the Spaniards, they treated their slaves very, very bad. The
mhm.
slavery in the Caribbean was terrible. Shout out to the
Yeah.
Zoes, 1804, when the Haitians were able to overthrow Napoleon. The French were very, very cruel in their slavery practices, right? So it's a practice that's been going on for a long time. And when Bobby Seale, narrates his personal life and his political journey and just talks about this book, it's one of those things where the term revolutionary should always be spoken in high regard when we talk about him, because like he was about Black liberation and social justice in the 60s and the 70s when, you know, presidents and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, people was getting shot. Like he stood on business, and he really had to go up against the Oakland Police Department and the FBI and the media, right? And you know, just as we talk about this book, he really does speak to Huey Newton and Fred Hampton and Edward. I'm gonna keep messing his name up, Cleaver. Which is something that I think is dope, and it's something out here I want to talk about as well. But like as you're just experiencing this moment, and we're going through this I don't know. I guess this is at this point, this is just us on a call, just like
I
going through
know,
therapy, right?
yeah.
Because
Something
it's
that's standing out to me, if you want to just tie back to entrepreneurship and just, if you're trying to step out, all these people just, they seized the moment that they had. That's what they did. They didn't wait. Imagine if these individuals just waited for maybe the opportunity, whatever that may be. Like, we might not even be, me and Vic might not even be doing this for real.
facts.
Like all of these people were like, I'm gonna take action oriented. And as y'all will learn, like I speak about God a lot. God's a huge part of my life. When God opens a door for you and presents you with that opportunity, you need to walk through that door, because that opportunity is not going to be open forever. There's only a window of time where you can take advantage of what he's giving you, what he's blessing you with. And that's entrepreneurship. I mean, if I didn't take the steps when God led me to, or if Vic didn't, we wouldn't have met. Who knows where I probably would have still been at my job, or Vic may have just not even worried about AI. He's like, oh, this is just a hobby. All of these people just took the initiative. And I think for a lot of people, just tying it back to business, it's hard to take like that first step, or how do I know? How do I know? You just have to just take a step and just invest in yourself. Like Vic and I are in the collaboration creates currency community. Make sure you subscribe to their channel too. Make sure you go
For
follow them on
sure.
LinkedIn.
For
But we're a part of that
sure.
community, and I mean that community is it's been great for us. Entrepreneurship and just growing and having like-minded people who are trying to do the same thing. So just if you're an entrepreneur who is on the fence, this is your sign to just take the step. All these people, they were like, you know what, I'm done with it. I'm not gonna be treated this way. I'm gonna stand up for myself, and they took advantage of that time.
And because I'm all about giving flowers and being as transparent as possible, have you ever heard of a show called Social Proof?
I have.
Brother,
Were you talking about that yesterday?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I wanted to see it. I feel like I've seen previews of it or something. What's it on? What
YouTube. Yo, like, share, subscribe. David's show. Yo, Dave, like, yo, love his
I
content.
have to
Love Earn
watch
Your
it.
Leisure as well. Huh.
I need to watch it. I need to watch it.
100%. But let me tell you why it matters though, because of course, no telling when this drops. So I ain't gonna say the date, but let's just say whenever this drops.
Yeah.
They just dropped a show yesterday about a young lady, and he has this concept I think is so cold. It's called the hot seat, where he has entrepreneurs come on his show, and they just kind of talk through what they got going on, and he tries to drill them and tell them like, yo, if you're nice, like you can make it through. In essence, like he kind of hates them on camera type of deal. I'm a frat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so shout out to '06. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm looking at. And like me and my wife watched a show where this young lady from Detroit, let's just say she did not represent herself well, talking about a couple of different things, trying to get out of taxes and stuff, but. He gave some good advice or whatever. Well, the show yesterday, the title of it is great clickbait. Like I say, look at his content And that's actually, yeah, we'll talk about the podcast thing, because like his podcast conference, that's what I sent you.
Oh, okay.
Definitely interested in doing
Yes.
that. But the title, clickbait. I spent 6 years waiting to start a business. 6 years. So seize the time, man. Like,
Yeah, don't wait.
and like, look at that podcast, look at that show, support everything he got going on. He got like he got a thing where, like, you can join his group or whatever, and like, I support it, support that black owned business and all that. And I always gonna shout that out. And Earn Your Leisure, love Ian Dunlap. I can't wait till I meet you, dog. Yeah, just you know, man, we're gonna talk about some, just if we get time, man. Just yeah, today today was crazy, man. It's crazy in the market right now.
That's good.
For real, for real. But as we get back to this story in this book, let's read another one of the 10-point programs, action plans. Right, we want all black men to be exempt from military service. It's debatable that might be one of the reasons why Martin Luther King got assassinated. We want an immediate end to police brutality and the murder of black people. Now, y'all hear what this is talking about. This was in the 60s and the 70s.
2020.
And I mean, like, I'm not one of those virtue signal guys. God bless the dead, R.I.P. George Floyd. But I ain't gonna be like, because I was outside back in 2016 with the Urban League, really knocking on, what I'm saying, like standing on the front line with that stuff. Like when Mike Brown died and when Trayvon Martin died, you know what I'm saying? Like I was outside, like doing all that stuff. So like, by no means am I trying to disparage what happened recently and what's happening now, but we been getting killed, people. So when anybody says anything around DEI doesn't matter, or when anybody says anything around the Black Panther Party was just a terrorist organization, like this was crafted in the 60s. We want an immediate end to police brutality and the murder of black people.
And it's 2024. And how many of those have you seen on the news recently? Like this past month. This is ongoing. This is years.
And the book talks about, the service needs and the interests of the black community. And this 10-point program that I'm talking about is one of those things. But then they also have survival programs that is alluded to. And then, let's talk about something in our community that we talk about a lot. Your little homie get locked up. He's doing a bid. What we say, free the homie, right? Well, let's talk about the Free Huey campaign. Like, that was a real thing where Bobby Seale was really outside and Huey Newton was really in jail, and he was really out there pushing the line for his homie, and he was doing it for righteous reasons. Some of y'all be telling people free your homie, and your homie done did some stuff that he shouldn't have did. But if you really want to look into where I think the essence of that notion comes from, like, look at this book. I'm not going to say that anybody should be in jail. I'm not going to say that anybody shouldn't be in jail, and I'm not going to talk about anything like in popular culture right now, because I feel like people will clip it up. But like, let's be clear, man. Like, if we're gonna say free your homie, man, let's say it's for a righteous reason, and it ain't for something that if you sell a dope, bro, it come with that. If you outside pimping, it come with that. If you hit a lick, it come with that. If you caught a body, it come with that. But if you ask
choices,
that part,
yeah, I mean they're all choices. Like you do something, you gotta know, like, all right, is it gonna be this outcome or this outcome? You know what I mean? Yeah, you definitely gotta be aware of that. And that book kind of I feel like this book has like a oversight of everything that's happening right now. It's nothing new. Like history repeats itself a lot.
Ooh.
Like it does a lot. That was Siri. To repeat. Nah, history repeats itself a lot. So this book is just like, wow, this really happened. This really happened. Look, it's 20. Like I said, it keeps saying it's 2024. Just the past 4 years. Let's just look back and see. A lot of this stuff is repetitive. Unfortunately, it's
100%.
still going on, but it's nothing new.
And it's very apropos that you said that, because the book also contextualizes like how the emergence and the significance like of the party happened in like the broader historical landscape of the 60s. Like you had the civil rights movement, which I think is akin to maybe what we have going on right now in society. You can go a lot of different directions with that. I'm going to always lean DEI. But then you had the Vietnam War, which you can kind of speak to as maybe what's happening with the Russian and Ukraine situation, right? But then you had the Cold War, which is still Russia, and it's Russia in its beginning stages, but like if you correlate that with what's going on, what God bless all the people that were victimized October 7th over there in Israel, right? Tragedy, and then everything that's happening ever since then. God bless all the Palestinians that have been saw the same fate, right? It's just like it's bad. Everything is bad, and then like the counterculture, like that this book talks about, is kind of similar to, like we kind of alluded to, cancel culture. All that stuff being said, you had a puppet master in the background manipulating and sending agent provocateurs into the Panther Party to have, like, different entities and different organizations pretty much beef with each other, like what J. Edgar Hoover used to do. And this is the truth. COINTELPRO, I'm not even capping. I don't even need to read this, like, and I'll contextualize it for a modern society. If you got some boys over there banging blue and you got some boys over there banging red, Hoover would, and it's funny because I don't want to get too deep into that, but just for game purposes, let's make it real specific to Nipsey Hussle. Like, Hoover Street and Rolling 60s have been at a war for quite some time. And let's just say that J. Edgar Hoover would say something to the Hoovers and say that, the boys over there at RSC was doing X, Y, and Z, and then do the same thing back. But they had never done anything, or they would make fake Instagram accounts contextualizing it for today and make a diss track to the ops, and like they never did it. And then they start killing each other. And like, this, it was so, I just randomly decided to, do Blue Laces, but like the whole concept of cripping, like that goes back to like revolutionary times, yo. And like, I really do believe in my heart of hearts that if J. Edgar Hoover wouldn't have did what he did, Crips wouldn't have been doing what Crips did, and then the Bloods never would have, you know what I'm saying? And then, you got what happened over there in GD, with the GDs and the Shy, and, what I'm saying, the vice lawyers and all that, it's like different. But like, the bastards of the party, it's absolute great. Have you ever seen that documentary?
Bastards of the Party, that's what it's called.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Lord.
You
Absolute.
list of stuff to look up after this. Social group. I have to do this. I have to.
Yeah. But the Bastards of the Party was a great piece of art that really talked about how gangs really were created of, they're the bastards of the party, or the bastards of the Black Panther Party, because again, a lot of the confusion that was crafted was from our own government, man. And it's kind of intense, when you look at it like that. I just gonna read number 8 again. We want an immediate end to police brutality and the murder of Black people, and that still hasn't happened.
And I pray about it. Lord willing, it will happen soon. But for a lot of places in the United States, I mean, to be a Black person and you see a police officer roll up on you, you're gonna be kind of tight. Like, what do I do? What did I do? You're gonna be nervous. You know what I mean? And it's funny that that's one of the points, because I was watching a sermon. Keon, the Lighthouse, Dallas, watch their sermons. He's a great pastor. You get, police brutality. Unfortunately, it still occurs, and just and we're not saying that, like, someone deserves to be arrested. They're gonna, if they committed a serious crime, like, they deserve to face the judgment of whatever that crime is. You know what I mean? We're not saying that you could go do something you shouldn't be penalized for it, but it's really just the discrimination. Because let's say I'm walking down the street and they're like, "Oh, you look like so and so," and I get arrested for all because I think, like, we don't all look alike. They can put it on that we don't all look alike, but just for that reason, it's like, so DNI is huge. Like, that's important, and that goes back into training. That goes back into a whole lot of things. So I mean, the fact that companies are investing in this, okay, that's great. But what are y'all actually doing? Like, don't just fill the role and say, we have a DNI person. It's like, okay, so what DNI stuff are you actually reinforcing? If you have a DNI person and your organization is fully white, or you have a DNI person, your organization is fully Black, or maybe just fully Asian, fully anything of one race, then that's not diverse. You know what I mean? Like, it needs to be a mix. And my friend, Tamia, she's really big on that. She'll be like, "So how many? What's your diversity like?" She'll ask the question in interviews. And Vic's a recruiter, so I don't know if he like if y'all do that or if people ask that.
100%.
But like,
Yeah,
yeah, but I mean
yeah.
that's a important question to ask because it shows the values. Like, what's this company's values? Like, do you value this? Do you treat everyone equally? Like, or do you have a preference? Because you can see when people got a preference. Just look on their website. Look at leadership. If every leadership is one race or one gender, or it may be 90% of one gender, and like you got the other 10% is another gender, like their diversity is not a priority.
And let's go ahead and knock out these last three. We want freedom for all black men held in federal, state, county, and city prisons and jails. Tons of political prisoners that I can probably list that are actually on this shirt, actually, that I just happened to throw on. My dude Shakur was definitely one of them. I always remember him because, Pac, and our God bless the dead, R.I.P. Pac, Pac used to really push the line for that stuff too, right? When I hear that, I just think about all the black men who got lost in the prison to pipeline, the school to prison to pipeline, system, like in the 60s. And that didn't change because then, Reagan came through and flooded the city, flooded America with crack. And, your buddy selling crack on the corner is getting 100 years, but, a less melanated person with a little bit more money in their pocket is selling the same substance just without the baking soda, and they getting 20 minutes in the county. That to me just is all about equality, and like people are just getting locked up for not righteous reasons. Number 9, we want all black people, when brought to trial, to be tried in court by a jury of their peer group or people from their black communities as defined by the Constitution of America. And then the last one on the 10-point program was we want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, and justice. Well, justice and peace. Peace. So the last thing that this righteous, militant, gun-toting, deaf, scary organization that was, J. Edgar Hoover's pet pain pleasure project or whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Like the last thing they said, they wanted peace, but that didn't happen.
Nothing on that list is anything outrageous. Like it's
Mm-mm.
nothing insanely listed. If you disagree, please leave your comment. We would love to read it. Like and subscribe. But yeah, I mean nothing on that list is crazy. And it's crazy that we're able to relate. And again, like Vic said, like we have a decade in between us in age. So the fact that both of us can relate to this list and that it's still going on with some parts, that's the stuff still going on now is crazy. So
And it's just like, I'm just listening to that song in my head because, if we play Blue Laces, we're going to get, they're going to, whatever little monetization that might happen, they're going to take it away, right? But like, check out Blue Laces, man. And just, as we come into the end, the book offers a rare and valuable perspective of the party's formation, the evolution of it, used to empower the black community, the challenges, the oppressive systems. Seale really narrates and reveals like the inner workings and the struggles and the achievements and the external forces and factors that influenced what ended up being one of the most, if not the most, pivotal movements ever in the history of the world. So the book not only serves as a historical document, but it's a critical reflection on Black Panther Party's impact and legacy for society, and it's a lot of lessons there you can take to today. And as a business owner, racial equality and social justice is important. From an AI perspective, that tool has a lot of racial bias. Like you could probably pinpoint the date when I say what I'm about to say, but Gemini got jammed up because I want to say that their AI was having like George Bush have the features of a black person. So like I'll give conservatives a perspective. Like sometimes like you get people that are too heavy leaning on the DEI, and it comes out and it doesn't look great, but like that's a tool and it's technology, so that's understood. But at the end of the day, this is a great book. I'll let you get a couple words in before I just tell some more stuff for folks to check out as far as this book
I
goes.
definitely think this is a good book, and if someone that you just kind of want a different perspective, I would say, on people that have see the Black Panther Party they've seized their opportunities, their time. They are now like we all know who they are. Kind of support your community, whatever it is. But I definitely would encourage you to read this book and just take the first step. Definitely seize the time that you have because that window's not always going to be open. You don't want to look back 20 years from now and be like, "Dang, I wish I would have just done that," because you would have maybe been in a different place. Like if the Black Panther Party didn't do what they did, who knows where stuff would have been. I mean, stuff wouldn't have been as pushed as hard. People wouldn't have had the confidence, you know? It just takes one to even be associated with that or even participate. Because, like, what if I die? What if this happens? What if, you know? And so you could be that game changer for someone else. You know, you stepping into what your purpose is, what God has for you, that's, you could impact somebody else's life and make a huge difference. So definitely take the first step.
For sure. And as we close, guys and gals, just know that definitely like, share, subscribe, and we're looking forward to, you know, dropping these out. And so I do remember the gentleman's name. The first video I ever did, I had a red hoodie on. That was Ross Mackonomics. And it's so appropriate that we talk about him and Fred Hampton, because I really want to say, matter of fact, I'm almost 1,000% sure. I don't got it in front of me. Kill me if I'm wrong. Well, give me thumbs down if I'm wrong. Don't kill me. I want to live a little longer. But I want to say Ross is from the Chi. So, you know, lock in with Ross Mac. And like, you know, today is special to me because when I talk about Ian Dunlap being from Indiana and, like, you know, Earn Your Leisure and the social proof, like, you know, I'm really self-taught with a lot of these things, and I'm not a financial advisor, but today I crossed the threshold. I have six figures invested in the stock market, man. And I think that's a blessing. Thank you. And, you know, and it's really all after the pandemic, you know, and I would tell folks that when I say it's all after the pandemic, like for real, like I only had like about 10 bands. And then I really just started doubling down with investing in my 401k, Roth IRA, and then I got lucky. Now I don't know, man. Like, shout out, I got to give Ian his flowers, man. He called Nvidia early, man, and I got in on Nvidia at a good number, 175, and they up to like a crazy number right now. You know, but it's deeper than that. But I'll say, like, you know, don't only take your information from one source. Just get a lot, and you can learn a lot from those programs. Again, Ross Mac. My bad, bro. I forgot, you know, but the hoodie was dope. And shout out to Ian Dunlap, the master investor, everybody over there at EYL. And, you know, shout out to Social Proof, you know, the homie Dave, you know what I'm saying? Like, check out the hot seat, because Shorty, on this last episode, definitely said, yeah, she did seize the time. You know, she took 6 years to do it, you know, but yeah, I think that's it on my end. How you want to close this?
Yeah. If y'all have books outside of the books that we're going to be talking about with Nipsey, and, you know, if there's anything else you want us to talk about, topics, drop them in the comments. I'd be curious to see y'all's feedback, because I'll be reading the comments. I know Vic will too. We definitely want to take your feedback and, you know, implement it into these shows, and just kind of where you want to see this show go long term. So, yeah.
For sure. Well, as we sign off, another episode of the Neighborhood Nip Book Club is concluded, man. And check out Song of the Day from Nip, you know, Blue Laces.
It's going to be at the beginning of this video, and I'm going to put it at the end. So you got a little snippet.
For sure, man.
Go back, match my Rolex. Everywhere I go, flex. Valet park on some low shit. Whole lot of smoke in that Rory, that thing poke.